everybody is different, okay? If you want to get a job or you want to achieve anything in life, please do it. Don't let your disability stop you, okay? I've had a lot of ups and downs in my time, and man, it has been a challenge for me and my family over the years, some of it, but I've come out of the other side doing things that I really want to do.
Endeavour started in 1951 here in Brisbane on the veranda of a house in Coorparoo. It was commenced by a family that had seen that there wasn't opportunities for their children to go to school. Schools were actually overrun with students. There were so many students that, in fact, students that were in those days classed as subnormal weren't actually allowed to go to the schools because they couldn't cater for the numbers. And so it was that group of families that in, say, 1951 got together, and in fact in the first year there were 140 families that got together to create a movement that opened their first school in 1953.
My Endeavour journey began as a child, in fact, because my parents lived and breathed Endeavour, or as it then was, the Queensland Subnormal Children's Welfare Association. My mum was a paediatrician whose specialty was children with intellectual disabilities, and my dad was a bean counter. So mum dragged my dad along to an annual general meeting of Endeavour Foundation and forced him into the role of sticking up his hand to become part of the then board of the organisation. Mum was the honorary doctor for the association as it then was. So our household was always filled with families associated with Endeavour. We went to Christmas parties. That was the family activity. I feel it's been in my life ever since I was a child, and I'm thrilled that it's still part of my life today.
So they're branching out to other categories of support. Predominantly was because schooling became a state-run function, but in fact Endeavour had expanded into work opportunities and more general support opportunities in the 60s and 70s. So, that growth was really as a result of need and an identification from very strong advocates, parents and supporters of predominantly their children, that people with intellectual disability deserved opportunities that weren't otherwise provided to them.
Disability support in the 1970s, which is when I really first became aware of it, was very different. Home and living services and facilities were, in truth, they were more the institutions that fortunately over time have been closed down, whittled down, and so now people living in group homes, we're talking 3, 4, 5 people, not 10, 20 and 30 and more people. I think it was a very much more paternalistic time back in those early days when I first became aware of it. I didn't realise it at the time, but now I see how much, how far we've come from people being sort of looked after to being enabled. And I think that's what I'm so proud of at Endeavour Foundation today, that it's about helping people with intellectual disabilities choose their possibility, choose their reality. For me, one of the biggest differences in the whole universe of an organisation like Endeavour Foundation, the biggest difference is giving people their voice and hearing it.
I think understanding what happens in supported independent living is perhaps hidden from many people. We have amazing employees who care 24/7 in supported independent living arrangements, looking after clients in homes that some of them we own, and we don't own them all. We also provide in-home support. That side of Endeavour Foundation is often unseen. It's often not talked about very much, but it is a vital service for people with disability, and for people with intellectual disability to have that support is probably one of the great things that has come out of the NDIS. Those homes, when they're working really well, are a safe place and they're no different to yours or my home. Our learning and lifestyle hubs, as we call them, it's important to understand that they're not a closed-door operation. They're actually a hub for people to come, attend and then get out into the community. Those clients that participate in our learning and lifestyle centres have a great sense of ownership of the space. Many of them call it work because they go there, and some of them have been going there for decades. I contextualise everything through the eyes of being a father of a son with an intellectual disability. And so the people that work at Endeavour, particularly in our workspaces, they are the happiest workplaces you will ever see. To provide routine, to provide friendship, opportunities for engagement outside of work, the Christmas party, you name it, and the work that they do and working together as a team is pretty inspirational. People don't realise if you walk down the aisles of Woolworths or Coles, I guarantee we're packaging one of the products. There are hundreds of products we package, from spices to rices. We package flour, we package salt. There are things we do in the timber industry where we make stakes and road signs to guide mining trucks in some of the big mines in central Queensland. We bottle car care products for Bowdens. So, you go to your Repcos and Super Cheaps, and we've done it. We've actually stickered the bottles and packaged them, and they've been dispatched, and now they're on a shelf. We even work for Komatsu, the big yellow plant equipment. We package their oil testing kits, and we recycle them as well. We do some e-waste recycling. We work in a number of recycling centres on the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, Western Downs. We also have work on 10 Defence Force sites with full security passes.
So some of the challenges and hurdles I've faced in the work industry have been adjusting to seating arrangements due to health issues, adjusting to how long I can stand, also adjusting to finding my feet in which departments I would love to be. Endeavour Foundation Hero helped me to share my light on a little robot named Pepper. You use the computer to program him, and it will register on his iPad, and then he verbally speaks and does hand movements, like he might do some deep movements, he might just go like waving up and down, like he does lots of cool things that a lot of people with intellectual disability would really love having Pepper around. QUT and being a big part of that role of setting Pepper up to do these sorts of things. And last year I won a Pepper Award for being the most recognised in disability for helping look after Pepper and achieve Pepper's goal. Pepper's goals is to be able to go out and help people with a disability.
People we serve, absolutely they come from all walks of life. We're right up and down eastern seaboard predominantly, but we're also across a little bit across the country. Their families are just like yours and mine, of all kinds and in all places, in all locations. Leaving aside children and aged care, everyone in between. We have all sorts and sizes and types and varieties of people that come to Endeavour Foundation.
Endeavour Foundation was one of the main advocates in the campaign Every Australian Counts, which was the precursor to what is now the NDIS. And it played a very key role in getting the NDIS up and into legislation and ultimately fully live in 2020. The NDIS has made a big difference to people's lives. It does provide choice, control to the sorts of services that they receive and that they wish to receive. It has created some challenges. Many of those are talked about in the media, but overall the NDIS has provided much needed support, much needed opportunities for people with disability. And in our case, people with intellectual disability have a challenge beyond those on the scheme, because They often need assistance in advocacy, but we're working very hard with our employees and in our sector, people with intellectual disability, to be their own advocates. And that's a fantastic thing that we've really moved into. The self-advocacy of our participants is a powerful movement. In the past, block funding, where organisations just got, big chunks of money, and look, it was right for the time, but it probably didn't spark the innovation that's needed to customise and create opportunities and services and programs that are really there based on the choice and the opportunity that participants want rather than what the organisations wanted to provide. There were street marches, there were rallies, and there were participants involved along with families and supporters from Endeavour to really get that movement going.
We still have that grassroots DNA very much at our heart. Our membership still comprises families and people who are supportive of our objectives, but the thing I'm probably proudest to tell you is that as of our last annual general meeting, Endeavour Foundation's membership is our clients. So the people with intellectual disabilities that we serve are automatically entitled to membership, and it was the most wonderful, heartwarming moment for me. We are a community, and like any community, the relationships that people bring to Endeavour and make while they're at Endeavour are what makes the difference. The world today, I think there is a lot of focus on words that don't mean much to people, and what we're really talking about when we're talking about, for instance, a society that embraces diversity and inclusion, that's actually really simple. What it really means, and which I wish we would talk about more, is everybody is welcome here. And when everybody is welcome here, they are free to express themselves, they are free to live the life they choose, and I think it makes everybody more thoughtful of one another for that matter, because in order to live the life that you choose, you've got to be mindful of the impact that has on others.
I think there's a job and a role for every organisation to do some of the heavy lifting and provide some of those opportunities beyond just a single employment position, where perhaps an organisation gets a nice thank you letter and put a plaque on a wall. We should be talking much bigger numbers than one. We should be talking 10s, 20s, hundreds. Governments should be working towards employing more people like the people we serve. The doors of procurement and the doors of employment need to be different for organisations like us.